Seal.
Seals secure
In
the
Greek,
ultimate truth.
sphragus.
None are
not a
worthy
stamp.
to gaze upon it.
A legal signature.
Behold the sacred sphragus.
Something sealed can't be touched until it's broken. John is standing in heaven when the Lamb breaks the first one, and the moment it breaks, someone steps through the door it opened. White horse, bow, crown, sent out to conquer. Nobody in that room says his name, not once, not anywhere in the chapter. And here's the detail almost nobody stops on. Scripture will not let you leave this rider alone, because 18 chapters later, another white horse enters, and this time, the rider has a name. Revelation 19, a rider called Faithful and True, robes soaked in blood, armies of heaven behind him, and for centuries, readers have argued about something most sermons skip entirely. Is chapter 6's rider the same one? Is this an early glimpse of Christ himself, riding out to conquer evil? Or is he something else? Something wearing the same white horse like a disguise? That question is never fully closed. And it's not a small detail to leave open. It changes everything about what you're watching. Look closer at who chapter 6's rider rides with. Not alone. Bound to 3 others, famine, death, and the grave, riding the same road behind him. Faithful and True doesn't ride with famine. He rides ahead of armies at the end of the story, not grouped with 3 horsemen of ruin at the start of it. So maybe this isn't Christ at all. Maybe this is something far stranger. A copy. A rider wearing the shape of the real one, sent out before the real one ever appears. If that idea is landing the way it landed on me the first time I saw it, hit like right now. It genuinely helps put this in front of someone else chasing the same questions. Here's where it gets stranger. This isn't even the first time 4 riders on 4 colored horses show up in Scripture. Centuries before John's vision, the prophet Zechariah sees something almost identical. 4 chariots, pulled by red, black, white, and dappled horses, coming out from between 2 mountains of bronze. Zechariah is told plainly what they are: spirits of heaven sent out in every direction, patrolling the whole earth on assignment. Same 4 colors, centuries apart, which means whatever rides out in Revelation isn't a one-time event. It's a pattern God has used before, and used on purpose. So the real mystery was never whether these riders are real. It's how many times this exact pattern is already written through human histories and unnoticed. Scripture names the pattern. It still won't name the passenger. So we go looking somewhere else. A text sitting just outside the pages you were handed. Imagine an older account, far outside Scripture, describing this same appetite by another name entirely. The Book of Enoch fills a gap the church has rarely touched, describing spirits not assigned to armies but to the taste for war itself. Not the battle, the hunger that starts it, planted in a heart long before the first blow ever lands. That's not Scripture speaking. That's a much later Jewish writing, offering its own reading of the same appetite Revelation only gestures at. But there's a third witness, one almost nobody brings into this conversation. Buried in the caves at Qumran, alongside the Dead Sea Scrolls, is a teaching about 2 spirits, a spirit of truth and a spirit of falsehood, assigned, according to that community's own writings, to walk beside every human heart and pull it toward deceit. 3 separate sources, centuries apart, none copying the others. And all 3 land on the same idea from 3 different directions. That what rides loose in the world isn't only steel and armies. It's an appetite planted first, and a lie riding just ahead of it. Not a conqueror of nations, a thief of peace, a whisper wearing a crown. Subscribe now if you want the rest of these threads pulled the same way, because the second seal breaks a very different rider, and this one won't stay behind that door much longer. So look again at what actually happened in that room. The seal breaks. The rider doesn't force his way through. He's let through, given a bow, given a crown, sent, not stolen, which means the real question was never who he is. It's who let him ride, not chaos breaking loose, not evil slipping past a distracted guard. Permission, granted on a schedule by someone still holding the scroll. Now look at the world you're actually standing in. Turn on the news for 30 seconds and you'll hear the vocabulary of this chapter without anyone quoting it. War, and the rumor of it, everywhere, all the time. The pattern Zechariah saw, the appetite Enoch named, the two spirits Qumran described. All three describe the same road you're standing on right now, in your century, still moving behind the same door. That should unsettle you. It's supposed to, but not for the reason you think. Because here's the part almost nobody sits with long enough to notice. One chapter before a single seal breaks, John is already weeping, because nobody in heaven or on earth is found worthy to open the scroll at all. And then one is, not a warrior riding in on his own authority, a lamb, standing as though it had been slain. He's the one who breaks the seal. The rider, real or counterfeit, Christ or copy, never opens the door himself. He only rides through a door someone else was found worthy to open. So when that appetite for war rides loose in your own news feed, in your own year, wearing whatever disguise it's wearing this century, it is still riding through a door that only ever opens in one hand. Not the riders, not the copies, not Zechariah's spirits, not Enoch's appetite, not Qumran's whisper of falsehood.
Zechariah,
The Lamb who was slain
Enoch
and
manuscript,
found worthy and still
Qumran
holds the scroll
manuscript.
shut on everything that hasn't been released yet. That's the part worth carrying out of this video. Whatever looks like it's riding unopposed through your life right now, your fear, your headlines, your worst-case thinking, even the lie riding just ahead of it, it is still on a leash, held by someone worthy. Nothing rides that isn't first released, and nothing is released by anyone but him. You've seen the pattern. You've seen who holds the scroll. What you haven't seen yet is what rides out when the second seal breaks. And that rider doesn't carry a bow. If you want to see who comes through that door next, comment "second seal" and subscribe, because it doesn't stay shut for long.